almost anything you can imagine happens when you're a young, energetic military guy. But you suck it up, you deal with it, you know, and that's the way it's been forever.
I served for 6 years as a SEAL. We took mortars and RPGs every day.
Military free fall, I've got, I think, just under 4,000 jumps.
All our training involves explosives, high chance of injury, and that adds up over time.
There's no one day that I can remember that I had a terrible landing, but there were a few that I've landed hard enough that I've blacked out. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, where the heck am I? Okay, time to gather up your chute, move out and do the mission.
I never got IED'd. It's like mine's more of a cumulative thing from being around a ton of explosions. I first started to notice symptoms probably after Afghanistan. I got a really bad stutter, loss of feeling in my extremities, piss shivers. You know, I'd just be sitting there and I'd just shake out of nowhere. I'd be at the bar and order a beer and a hot water, and the bartender would be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
My second deployment, I was hit by an IED. I had tons of nerve pain and trigeminal neuralgia and stuff. So.
Anger outbursts. I had issues with my speech. Short-term, mid-term memory loss. I could actually watch my memory fade, and it scared me.
The guy said something, and in a rage, I picked up my cart full of groceries and I threw it at him. My
wife said, you need to go get checked out. You know, you aren't the same guy that you were before you deployed. And after all the deployments, probably 15, 20 years of her nagging me and saying, you need to go get yourself checked out. I did. And I found out that there were a lot of problems.
It's almost like us if we go on a run, and if you were to think about putting 50-pound ankle weights and then doing that same run, that's what your cells are doing with an injury. They're running marathons just to do everyday tasks.
They call it PTSD. As a soldier, I call it just a lot of stress. From the very beginning, you're trained to see things other people aren't able to see. You're trained to be alert 24/7. You're trained to engage your enemy, and they teach you how to turn on, but they don't teach you how to turn off.
They put me on morphine patch, Vicodin, Percocet.
Some pretty powerful concoctions, stuff for my nightmares, stuff for my thoughts. And
I think I was on a combination of 18 pills, and then I was sleeping 14 hours a day, and it wasn't really working. Eventually, I opted for brain surgery to try to relieve the pain, and again, nothing worked.
Especially for you veterans that are going to listen to this, you understand where I'm coming from. When you get to that point where there's no return and you don't know where else to go, you'll try anything.
And that's when I found out about the hyperbaric chamber.
Never even heard of this treatment, and so I looked it up and it said Michael Jackson went through it, so I said, great.
It's so easy, just go into a chamber and breathe oxygen, and yeah, it's 40 days, it's a month out of your life, and if it doesn't work, that's a bummer, but if it does work, it's a life changer.
Within about 4 days, I don't know about any other vet. I had a very short temper. The fourth day, we were driving to a store, and a lady nearly creamed us, almost hit us. Before I'd have jumped out of my vehicle, it would have just snapped and gone off. I literally looked at a lady very, very calmly, and I went, stop. And she knew what I was doing. I mean, she stopped. First time in almost 6 years, a rational thought came to my head and went, okay, it's over, you're fine. That was my first real inclination that, whoa, something's going on.
I noticed it get worse first, and then it gets better. It goes away.
I don't dream about Syria. I don't dream about Afghanistan, not being killed or bombed, or watching your friend get blown through a Humvee, or I actually dream about kind of neat things like my childhood and just, I guess, what normal people dream of.
I would recommend to anybody that does this treatment is they start kind of a log and see what improvements are actually happening, because it seems to happen so naturally.
So here I am at Sarascan again for the post reading of my images. The first one was in August. Then I underwent my 40 days of treatment, and I'm real excited. I hear it's pretty amazing.
Look at how much better that is.
Yeah.
We're
Less
seeing
dark blue.
much less dark blue here, which we can correlate to some of your clinical symptoms, including getting your memory back.
How I'm feeling, August compared to now, it's 180-degree difference. I am so amazed. I'm so thankful. I mean, I'm a completely different guy.
Your neurotransmitter production, your glial cell production, all of those things got jump-started. And so it does actually create a whole new brain with a whole new you.
I'm getting back kind of to the way that we were when we first married, 22 years ago. I mean, the memory's back. The anger issues are basically non-existent. My headaches are gone. It's been an absolute change in my life.
I have a relationship with my daughter and my sons, and they said, man, Pops looks so calm, he looks so happy. And I'm able to talk to my kids, and it's just priceless.
It's hard for people to acknowledge help and to get help. Without HBOT, I wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I've done in the last 5 years. I've gone to the South Pole, and just recently I've been able to climb Denali.
We were able to take 5 flags with almost 500 names of fallen soldiers written on them to the summit of the tallest mountain in North America. And we absolutely would not have been able to do that without Ryan and Eddie.
They've changed my life.
To everyone, whether you're a corporation, whether you're an individual or a family or a vet wife or a vet family, or someone who has lost a loved one due to the war, with all my heart, with all my soul, I want to say thank you. Without your sacrifice, without your donations, I would not be here. I would not have this second chance. And for however many men and women who have gone through this and will continue to go through this, it's because of you and your generous giving